Welcome. Today we are going to talk about the 8 steps in the design process. We are going to delve deeper into the design development, construction document, bidding and negotiation, and construction administration, more so than the feasibility study, programming, schematic design, and post-occupancy training. As you can see, the first step in the feasibility study is to examine the issues that will make the project feasible or unfeasible, and in some cases determine the best strategy for proceeding with the project. The following items, as you see on the screen, may be addressed in the feasibility study. One thing I do want to point out is that the budget and the scope of the project is modified throughout the entire project. What you start with may not be where you end up, but you need to kind of know that as a starting place. Site is very important at that point, how we go about developing the project on the site. We need to know the size and the type of building, and there are some other things listed here that you should make sure that you read through and understand. The second phase of the project is programming. We spend a lot of time on this in both the residential and the commercial class, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but again, I just want to remind you that programming is the process used to arrive at the set of criteria on which the design is based and by which it is later evaluated. The programming phase is where the project is built, not brick by brick, but by decision. This is the time when a common vocabulary for the project is created and preferences and requirements are determined and built into the overall picture before time is invested in design. One of the most important purposes of the program is to reduce the need for later backtracking and redesign. So if you do a thorough program, then you will save yourself a lot of time and headache down the road. We can find out problems that maybe arise, we can talk to the city or the county and make sure we're meeting their requirements, etc. So programming is very important. As you can see, there's a list of items that we typically analyze in the programming phase. And again, we make sure that budget and scheduling is included. Schematic design. Again, like I said, schematic or programming design, we spend a lot of time on this in both the residential and the commercial class. Again, this is typically based on the approved program. The schematic design synthesizes the program into a defined, feasible design. The design will be shown in the form of schematic drawings or preliminary drawings, and in some cases, even a study model. So again, with our 3D modeling software, we can begin to 3D model the project. The schematic design will address all significant areas of design and will be reviewed with the client before proceeding with more detailed drawings. A preliminary cost estimate is also usually provided at this stage. It's really important that after we complete each one of these phases that we get the owner to sign off and approve it, because our original fee for the project is based on a certain amount. So if we get all the way through construction documents and then the owner decides to make a extreme change, we need to be paid for that. So by having them sign off at each phase, then if we have to go back and redesign, we can charge additional fees. So again, you can read through the work in this phase that is typically included. The next phase is design development. And this is kind of where we get to in our residential and commercial design. In commercial, we do get into the construction documentation a little bit, but again, mostly we're spending a lot of time on design development. Design development is based on an approved schematic design. Design development is the process of refining and fixing the design and working out details, including the selection of materials and the engineering systems. The aim is to finalize all design decisions before proceeding with construction documents. A more detailed cost estimate may be provided at this phase, and typically is. In smaller projects, design development may become part of the schematic and construction document phases rather than being a distinct phase of its own. The design development package will be reviewed with the client before proceeding further with the project. Again, not every project includes all 8 phases. Matter of fact, most projects do not. A lot of times the feasibility study has already been done. So again, it all depends on what the owner requests is how we set up the project. So again, you can read the work that is typically involved in the phase of this project. Construction documentation. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this in this course than we do in the other courses, and same with bidding and negotiation and construction administration. Based on the approved design development documents, construction drawings and written specifications are put together which describe in detail all of the construction work to be done. These are the documents upon which the construction contract will be based and which the contractor will use to build the project. Basically, a set of construction documents is instructions on how to build the building. If a building permit is required, the application is usually made at the end of the construction documentation. Typically, when the drawings go out to bid, they also go to the city or county or jurisdiction that will review the drawings. Here you can see the work that's done in this phase. It usually includes preparing specific and detailed construction documents required to bid, apply for approval from building and planning departments, and complete construction. These may include dimension floor plans, elevations, sections, details, engineering plans such as electrical, mechanical, structural, and/or civil plans, landscape plans, final interior design plans, energy reports, and written specifications that cover all materials, methods of construction, and construction contract requirements. Specifications are closely coordinated with the construction documents. If there is a discrepancy between the specifications and the construction documents, the specifications take priority. Complete all coordination with consultants. Coordination of consultants, drawings, and written specifications is essential at this point to avoid conflicts between the various trades during construction. This is one area that Revit has helped us tremendously. When we did just two-dimensional drawings, we didn't always see potential conflicts early in the design process. Now we can take care of that with our 3D modeling because we can make sure that ducts can fit over light work, that ducts can be coordinated with structure, etc. So this has helped us with a lot of issues that used to take place in the field and cost lots of money to fix, that now we can take care of prior to it ever being constructed. Resolve any outstanding building or planning code issues. Typically, once you submit the drawings to the review board, whoever is reviewing the drawings, they may come back and ask you to do some additional things or make some changes. Try to resolve, again, all of that prior to bidding the project so that any additional costs can be done at that time. And then, of course, apply for the permit. One thing we try to do is we try to make any changes to the documents prior to it bidding. Any time after the bidding has taken place and a change is made, it is going to cost more. That is just the nature of the business. So we try to resolve any issues prior to that. Again, we are not going to, in most cases, not have any change orders in the construction administration phase, but we try to get those taken care of prior to that. The next stage is bidding and negotiation. Once the documents are completed, project is put out to bid. A contractor is selected and a construction contract is drawn up between the contractor and the client. The architect is the client's representative. Again, the architect works closely with the owner and the contractor at this point. The work in this phase typically includes the following: prepare documents for bidding, such as the invitation to bid, instructions to bidders, and the bid form. Advertise bid and solicit contractors to bid on the project. Coordinate and provide bid documents to bidders. Check bidders' qualifications, such as references, insurance, experience, personnel, etc. Provide additional information in the form of addenda to the construction documents as needed to the bidders. During this phase, before the project is bid, any change that is made is included in an addenda. The addenda is an addendum to the documents, either the project manual or the construction documents themselves. After the project is bid, those changes are called other things, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Meet with contractors and material suppliers, receive bids, and assist the client in negotiation and preparation of the owner-contractor agreement and other necessary documents. The seventh phase is construction administration. This includes on-site observation and conscientious administration of paperwork throughout construction that is necessary to assure the communication flows smoothly, that high standards are maintained, and that the client gets their construction money's worth. Work in this phase typically includes the following: making periodic site visits while the project is under construction, We do this to make sure that they are doing things in compliance with the design intent, that the proper materials are being installed, that the temperature is correct for pouring concrete. Lots of different things that we're going to look at during these site visits. We're going to conduct on-site meetings with the contractor, suppliers, and clients. Most projects have weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly job site meetings. Those again are coordinated by the architect and the contractor, usually involve the subcontractors that are working on the project at that time, the owner, the architect, any engineers that are involved at that time, and that typically takes place on site. Administrative changes with the client and the contractor. Clarify drawings as required, answer contractors' questions, complete additional drawings as required. At this point, if a change is made, it is going to be made through either an ASI, which is the Architect's Supplemental Instructions. Typically, architectural supplemental instructions do not require a cost change. They only require a design change or a clarification. If there is a cost involved in the change, then it is called a PR, which is a proposal request. From that, we would do drawings, get a price from the contractor, submit that to the owner, and then the owner will approve or disapprove of that change. Once a change is approved and it involves a contract change to the cost or time or something that's involved in the contract, then we issue what is called a change order. And then the change order makes a change to the actual contract. During this process, we also have to review documents and lots of paperwork. This is where we do the changes. We have to look at the payment that goes to the contractor, submittals from the contractor, or what we call shop drawings, and then any kind of resolution that needs to take place between disputes. We also deal with that. Say, for example, if the concrete guy said he would be there next week and he doesn't show up for 2 weeks, the owner's not happy, we are the middle person to do that. The architect is the owner's representative. The last phase, and again, we're not going to spend much time on this, is the post-occupancy training. After construction is complete, we work with the owners on use and enhancement of the design, incorporating training and showing how to use things that are in the building, such as the mechanical system. We might bring in their maintenance department and do any on-site training or phone consultation that needs to take place. Again, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we will see some of this when we look at the construction documents. That is the end of this part of the lecture. The next part, we'll learn about the Construction Specifications Institute and how they play a role in the documents that we're going to talk about.